But I also agree with countless evolutionists, mind you, that she's nothing more than an extinct monkey or lemur-like primate. So what is it about this fossil that makes it so revolutionary? Truth is, not much. She has opposable thumbs, like humans, although I'd add, so do koalas and possums, and yet no one connects us with them. A few other minor similarities with fingernails, which have caused the producers of the documentary to say that she's a transitional form between old world monkeys and apes, but in every other way, she's nothing more than a remarkably well-preserved, extinct primate that once lived in Germany. The reason she's created such a fuss is twofold. First, only 0.1% of all fossils found are vertebrates, okay, animals with a backbone. And of them, less than 1,000th of 0.1% are primates. Now, there's virtually no prestige in finding just a fossil monkey. So when any paleoanthropologist comes across one, a fossilized primate, they always declare it to be an ancestor of man, because it sells, it makes news, it sells, it makes history, it makes books, television specials. You know, it's funny, really, that every primate fossil found, and I mean every primate fossil found, is declared to be one of our ancestors, and not just from some other line of primates. It's very telling. Second reason this fossil has created such a blitz, and this is perhaps even more telling, is the media-driven push to promote the book and the television special that goes with it. It's kind of marketing at its slickest. Even the book's co-author, paleontologist Philip Gingrich, said there was pressure from the TV company. He said, "We've been pushed to finish. It's not how I like to do science." Paleoanthropologist Peter Brown said, "That rings all sorts of warning bells." Anthropologist Matt Cartmill added, "The PR campaign on this fossil is more of a story than the fossil itself. It's very beautiful, but I don't see anything new." So if it isn't really anything new, why would Sir Richard Attenborough, as you may have heard on the news and in reports that have gone on about this, why would he say of this fossil, "The link they would have said up to now is missing is no longer missing"? Why? Well, maybe I'm being over cynical, but let's be honest. He's being paid by the producers to promote it. Of course he's going to promote it. Better to listen to experts who don't stand to gain from this than to celebrities who have been paid to gain from it. Vertebrate paleontologist Chris Beard of the Carnegie Museum said, "It's not a missing link. It's not even a terribly close relative to monkeys. It's been hailed as the 8th wonder of the world," but he adds, "Frankly, I've got 10 more in my basement." Biologist Jonathan Wells made a great point, saying, "When you listen to Darwinists, they claim their theory is as well established as gravity," and they do. I think, in fact, that's something that even Richard Attenborough has claimed himself. If that were really the case, we wouldn't be getting these startling announcements that we finally found the proof. That would be like someone running up and saying, "Stop the press, I just saw another apple fall from a tree. Turns out Newton was right." The fact that there's so much going on about such little finds actually demonstrates their theory is not as well established as they claim. In fact, even human evolutionist Solly Zuckerman said, "It's doubtful if there's any science at all in the search for man's fossil ancestry." And in a nutshell, that ancestry goes something like this. Ida, this was a reconstruction of what she would have looked like, was the transitional form from so-called lower mammals to apes, and then the first in our lineage being this one, go to the next one, then this one, then this one, then this one, then the next one. I think we'll just stop on that one for a sec. There have been a lot of so-called ape men that have come and gone. All of them, though, are fossils either of extinct apes, humans with slightly different bone structures, such as we still see today, by the way, or hoaxes, like Piltdown Man and Nebraska Man. Our most famous supposed ancestor next to Neanderthals would be Australopithecus. The best remains we have of this is only a 40% complete skeleton of a 3-foot ape that's been called Lucy. And this sculptural reproduction is purely artistic. You can't tell much about where the hair is and all that from a few bones. And the research on... there's nothing to say, by the way, that Australopithecus is nothing more than an extinct ape. And the research on Neanderthals actually points to them simply being the remains of humans with arthritis or slightly prominent eyebrow ridges that are still found in many people today, possibly even a few around this room. I won't make any eye contact. Anyway, continue through the current ladder, keep going. Next one, Homo habilis, then that supposedly led to the next one, and the next one. This was only one sample of this one found, and the next one. Okay, Homo sapien. This was just taken off their website for Ida, and it leads us to this fellow Jorn Hurum, who is actually the chief paleontologist heading up the research of Ida, who actually said himself, "It's impossible to say that Ida had anything to do with human evolution, but this is as good as it gets." All right, enough quotes for you. But I threw all those quotes at you purposely because all of them except one were from evolutionary scientists themselves, which was intentional to show that the science behind this lineage is not all that scientific, or at least not all that solid, which calls the next witness to the stand. Psychology. It's not a field of discussion that's often connected to the subject of origins or to church, but it is. It's very much so, actually, because it's what you believe up here that determines how you interpret the evidence out there. Creationists and evolutionists reach different conclusions about where humanity came from, not because they look at different evidence, but because they look at the same evidence with different foundational beliefs. Take fossils like Ida. They don't change. They're set in stone, literally. And yet evolution is a process of change. So a fossil can only support evolution if the person looking at it presupposes that evolution is true and then interprets it according to that belief. Does that make sense? If two animals have similar appearances, like orangutans and Dave Vine, or orangutans and humans. I'm just getting him back for you, Jason. He's not here. Yeah, there you go, you're welcome. If two animals have similar appearances, orangutans and humans, the only thing that proves is that orangutans and humans have similar appearances. Okay? That could be because they evolved from the same monkey, or it could be because they have the same designer. Which you see depends wholly upon what you believe. The evidence itself remains unchanging and could support either. And what's more, when it comes to fossils like Ida, so-called transitions between species, the most minute similarities, like a fingernail in this case, often receive the most emphasised attention, like a multi-million-dollar marketing blitz, while the massive differences are completely ignored. Drives me nuts.